Banks frozen, power out, no phone signal, and no answers. That's not the start of a disaster movie. It's the real-world outcome of a major cyber attack, and it's happened before. The next one could be bigger and closer to home. Welcome to Prepper's Paradigm, your channel dedicated to practical prepping and disaster preparedness. I use a computer-generated voice in these videos because my own is hard to understand due to an injury. In this video, we're looking at how to prepare for a cyber attack, the kind that can shut down power grids, water systems, communications, even access to your money. We'll break down what could happen, how likely it is, and what steps you can take now to protect yourself and your family. This isn't fear-mongering, it's happening more often, and the systems we rely on are more vulnerable than ever. When most people hear cyber attack, they think of someone getting their Facebook hacked or a scam email. But the kind of cyber attacks we're talking about here are aimed at infrastructure, the stuff we all depend on, whether we realize it or not. Let's start with the power grid. In 2022, the FBI warned about threats to our electrical infrastructure, and in some parts of the country, small-scale attacks on substations already cause blackouts. But with the right tools and access, a cyber attack could do far more, shut down power across entire regions, even nationally. No power means no refrigeration, no heating, no lights, no communication. Water systems are another easy target. In 2021, a hacker remotely accessed a Florida water treatment facility and tried to poison the supply by increasing the sodium hydroxide levels. The only reason it was caught in time is because a staff member happened to be watching. If no one had been monitoring the screen, people could have been drinking corrosive chemicals. Banks and financial systems are just as vulnerable. If the payment systems go down, stores can't process cards, ATMs won't work, and online banking grinds to a halt. A large-scale cyber attack could freeze your access to your own money for days or even weeks. Then there's communications. Internet, phone networks, GPS, all depend on a massive, connected web of systems. Disrupt one part, and others start falling apart. That includes emergency services. If 911 is offline and police can't coordinate, local chaos escalates quickly. And this isn't theory. The Colonial Pipeline hack in 2021 led to panic buying and fuel shortages across the East Coast. Hospitals have had to cancel surgeries after ransomware locked up their systems. In Ukraine, Russian cyber attacks have knocked out power and communications in the middle of wartime. If someone wanted to cause maximum disruption in the US without firing a single shot, a coordinated cyber attack is one of the most effective ways to do it. And the worst part? Most people wouldn't know it was happening until the lights go out. How likely are cyber attacks? The short answer, very likely, and they're already happening. Every year, cyber attacks on critical infrastructure increase. It's not just isolated incidents, it's part of a broader pattern. Utilities, hospitals, government agencies, and even food suppliers have all been targeted. Some attacks come from criminal groups using ransomware to make a quick buck. Others are more serious, state-sponsored cyber warfare. Countries like Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran have all been linked to cyber operations against the US and its allies. These aren't random hackers in basements. They're professionals with funding and a mission. As I recently reported on my Preppers News channel, in early 2025, we saw a spike in these kinds of attacks, including probes against water and energy systems in multiple states. At the same time, the US government cut funding to CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. That's the group responsible for defending our critical systems. Cutting their budget while threats are increasing doesn't just send the wrong message, it creates real gaps in our defense. We also know that cyber attack drills have taken place at high levels. Governments and corporations are preparing behind closed doors. The fact that they're doing that tells us they expect something to happen. The public, however, remains largely unprepared. Many preppers focus on EMPs, and that's fair. But cyber attacks can take out power, comms, and logistics just as easily, and they're much more likely to actually happen. They don't require missiles or war, just access and time. And when an attack does come, it probably won't be announced. It'll just hit. Power fails. Phones go dark. There's no access to money. By the time you realize it's not a local outage, it could already be nationwide. This is why cyberattacks deserve a spot in every prepper's threat matrix. Preparing for a cyberattack means taking a hard look at the systems we all depend on and making sure you're not left vulnerable when they go down. Start with power. If the grid goes down, things stop working fast. No fridge, no lights, no heat or air. That's why it makes sense to have backup power options already in place. A portable power station with solar charging can keep essentials running without relying on the grid. For lighting, stick with LED lanterns, battery-powered headlamps, and crank flashlights, gear that won't leave you in the dark when things fail. Around the home, make sure you've got manual tools for basic tasks so you're not stuck if you lose access to electric appliances. Water is just as important. Most municipal water systems use electric pumps, and if those go offline, the tap could stop running. Store enough drinking water to last at least a couple weeks per person, but storage alone isn't enough. You'll need a way to collect water and a water filter that doesn't need power. Sawyer and LifeStraw filters are a great option, and it's worth knowing how to purify water with bleach or by boiling, just in case. Now think about your finances. Cyberattacks can hit banks and payment systems just as easily as the power grid. If the ATMs stop working and the card readers are down, you'll need cash. Keep a stash at home in small bills, enough to cover food, fuel, and any immediate needs. And don't forget about barter. Items like fuel, hygiene supplies, batteries, and ammo all have value when supply chains are disrupted. Print out any critical financial info you need, because if the cloud goes down, so does your access to it. Communication is another weak spot. Cell towers, internet providers, and emergency services all depend on digital infrastructure. If a cyberattack knocks those out, you'll need alternatives. GMRS radios are a reliable choice for local comms. A battery-powered or hand-crank AM, FM, or shortwave radio will let you pick up broadcasts even when the internet is down. It's also a good idea to print out contact lists and have some physical maps of the local area. If GPS or your phone fails, you'll still know where to go and who to reach. Food is something most folks overlook until it's too late, although this is an area where preppers are often better equipped. If the trucks stop rolling, store shelves will clear out fast. Keep a supply of food on hand that you know your family will eat, and make sure much of it doesn't require refrigeration or electricity to prepare. Use manual cooking gear like camp stoves or rocket stoves, and stock up on the fuel you'll need to use them. Make sure to rotate your food stores so they stay fresh. And finally, there's personal security. If emergency services are overwhelmed or can't respond, you're on your own. Make sure your home defense setup is solid. That includes doors, windows, lighting, and the tools you're comfortable using. And don't forget that situational awareness becomes even more important in a crisis. If your home is the only one on the block with lights and hot food, that could draw attention you don't want. Have a plan for locking down or bugging out if things take a turn. Cyberattack prepping isn't about stocking up on gadgets or becoming a tech expert. It's about reducing your dependency on fragile systems, building real-world resilience, and keeping your household functioning when the digital world breaks down. I've added a link in the video description to items I've mentioned in this part of the video. A major cyberattack could bring modern life to a halt in minutes. No power, no water, no money, no communication, and no warning. We've already seen the early warning signs, from ransomware on hospitals to attacks on power stations and water systems. These aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a growing pattern, and they're getting more serious. The good news is that prepping for a cyberattack doesn't require fancy tech or a massive budget. It means being realistic about the systems we rely on and putting backups in place now while you still can. A few changes to how you power your home, store your water, manage your money, and communicate with others can make a massive difference when things go sideways. If you found this video useful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps more people find this information, and it tells me you want more videos like this. And if you've already taken steps to get ready for a cyber attack, maybe a radio setup, backup power, or offline storage, drop a comment below and let others know what worked for you. We're all learning from each other here. Thanks for watching Prepper's Paradigm. your channel dedicated to practical prepping and disaster preparedness. Stay ready.